Next topic we're going to learn is jump statements. Now here we're going to deep dive into break, continue and this go to statements. So we're going to jump to the VS Code and we're going to see what are these things all are about. So basically jump statements we use to transfer program control from one point to another point in the program. So first thing is going to be break statement. So break statement, what is the work of break statement? Break statement basically terminates the execution of a loop or switch statement. So transfer program control to the next statement which is placed immediately after the loop or switch. So this is the basic flow chart of the break statement. You can see it here. Now similarly, continue statement is going to be there, and there we're going to learn about what does continue statement basically does. So it skips the current iteration of the loop and passes the program control to the next iteration of the loop. So unlike break statement, it never terminates the loop execution. If you see the code flow of it, the flow chart of it, so you see here it's basically whatever the condition will be writing for that continue, that will just get skipped. So it will get skipped and it will continue that loop, continue in the loop. But in break, that will not be continued in a loop. All right. Now next thing is going to be the go to statement. So go to statement transfer program control to a label statement that exists in the scope of the go to statement, and it is used to get out from a loop or nested loop to an outer loop. So makes the program logic complex and difficult to understand. So we're going to see each thing one by one in a VS Code. That time you'll understand better what does this break, continue and go to statements all this means. Alright, so let's jump to the VS Code and let's do some coding so you'll understand better. So here we're going to see the jump statements example. So let's create another file for that. So we'll be name it as 26 and we'll write jump statements dot c. So in the jump statements here we're going to learn, first thing is going to be learn about the break statement, right? So we're going to see break statement. Now I'll include the header file #include stdio.h and I'll be writing the main function. Now I'll write the return statement first. Alright, so this is the basic template I have created. Now I'll be writing the for loop, and previously what we are doing, we are writing the for loop, and that time we are writing suppose int I equals to suppose 1 or let's say 100. From 100 to backward will be coming out. So printing number from back to till 1, right? So I equals to 100 let's say, and I is let's write greater than equals to let's say 1. All right, and we'll be writing I minus minus. So here we are decrementing it. So from in reverse order we want to print it 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, this order we want to print it. All right, so what I'll be doing is we'll be writing printf statement, and here we'll be writing that I is what is going to be the percentage d, and we'll use /n. So every time I value will be printed with that. So I have to write small I, and this is done, and I have to use semicolon here. Okay, now this is done, but this we already did, right? From 100 to 1 printing, this we already did it, but we don't want to print till 1. Suppose from 100 to 80, suppose we want to print it. So there the comes thing that is the break. So that here I have to use statement I equals to, suppose if I write 80, till that time it will be executed. Here I'll write break. So here if I write break, it means from 100 to 80 it will stop, and it will not run the this for loop for 100 times. So it will not print from 100 to 1 in reverse order, but it will print till 100 to 80. So that is the work of break. It will basically terminate the loop. So after terminating, we'll be using one statement, so we'll understand it terminated loop. So and it became out here. So what we'll be writing is out of for loop. So we'll understand, okay, we are out of for loop. So I'll hit Ctrl S, I'll click here, I'll clear it out, the terminal, right click here, run the code. So it is printing some values which is not some mistakes we did. So we'll change that thing because it is printing 4200, something different values coming. We have to change the value. Alright, we'll change it and we'll say it. What is the error? We need to find it first. Okay, in line number 6, we didn't use that variable which we are printing, right? So I have to write I also, otherwise what it will be printing, right? So I'll Ctrl S, again I'll hit Ctrl S, I'll right click here, run the code. So after clicking run code, so it will run and it will print from 100 to 80. Let's wait for it is taking time, so it will print from 100 to 80 and it will break the loop. It will not go till 1. So I can see one more mistake I did. Here I use equals to. This is not equals in programming. Equals to means double equals to. We have to use 1 equals to means that is assignment, and I have to write this printf statement out of this for loop, otherwise it will be printing that many times. So out of for loop I'll be printing here. Now I'll hit Ctrl S. Now we'll run the code again. Now after running the code, you see from 100 it is printing till 80 and it is ending there, right, from 100 to 80. But initially when we were writing, so when we were solving the for loop questions, that time we were not breaking it. So that time what it was happening is, that time we were printing from 100 to 1 directly. But if you want to terminate the loop at the in the middle, so we can use this break. So we'll see more examples on this so that we get clear to it. So I'll write one more. I'll write 27 and I'll write break1.c. So this is the program we're going to see it. So again we're going to write some code and we're going to break the loop. So hash, I'll write the header file hash include stdio.h and write the main function int main, and I'll write the return at the last. Alright, so this is done. Now coming up, so I'll be declaring one variable. Let's say variable int a equals to 1. I declared one variable and initialize with value 1, and I'll write the while loop. Let's write the while loop now. So in while loop, if I say a is less than equals to 10, this is the condition we have given, so we're going to print it. So we're going to print f, and here we're going to print it. So %d, and I'll come out of it and I'll write the variable name. What is the variable name? A variable name, and I'll give some space to it, so it will get some space there also. Alright, now if I simply leave it, so it will print. Now if I write a++ and simply leave it, it will print from 1 to 10, right? That we know, but that is not our task. But we want to do, what we want to do here, we want to use the break statement, right? So here what we'll do is I'll write if a is greater than 5, if a is greater than 5, that time break it. It means what? It means what? till 5 it will be printed, otherwise it will not. It means it will be printed till a greater than 5. I'll hit Ctrl S, I'll click here, I'll clear it out, and I'll right click here and run the code. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is getting printed because these all numbers are, a is greater than 5. So when a is greater than 5, that time we are breaking it. So what we can see is, so we started with a equals to 1. So 1 is less than 10, correct? So 1 is getting printed out here. Alright, now 1 is greater than 5, that is false. It means break is not going to be executed. A plus plus will be happening, means a will become 2 now. So this is running in a while loop. So 2 is less than 10, correct? 2 will be printed. 2 is greater than 5. No, this if statement will not be executed. A plus plus. This break belongs to if, because only one statement I have used, so it will belong to if. We already know this thing. Alright, similarly 5 will it will go on and a will become 5. 5 is greater than 5. No, 5 is not greater than 5, right? It means what will happen, 5 will be printed out, right? So again 5 will become 6 here, 6 will be printed out, and it will check 6 is greater than 5 or not. 6 is greater than 5, that time it will be executed and loop will be terminated here. So this is the example for that. Alright, now lots of examples can be done in this in the similar fashion. This is the use of break statement. Now we're going to see the continue statement for that. Continue means what? It's going to skip the numbers. So that is what the use of continue statement is. So whatever the number you're going to skip it, that is going to be, whatever the condition you're going to write, that is going to be skipped. Break means what? It is going to terminate the loop directly. So what we'll be writing, we'll be taking one more program that is going to name is 28, and we'll write continue dot c. So here we're going to write the header file, int main function we write, and we'll write the return here, return 0. Alright, so some spelling mistakes are there. I have to write return. Alright, this is completely fine. Now let's create one variable like counter. I am creating a variable named counter, and let's start from 10. So we want to print the number in reverse order, and we want to skip any value from there, from that number. So we'll be writing a while loop. Let's write a while loop, and we want to skip some there. So we'll say till counter is greater than equals to 10, not 10, 0, print it. Otherwise, if anything we want to skip it, we'll be skipping it. So we'll writing if statement here, and we'll be writing counter if it's equals to 7. If this is the case, that time we'll skip it. So we'll do what? Counter minus minus means counter will be decremented by 1, and we'll write the continue. When we write the continue, it means 7 will be skipped, right? I'll be coming out of this if statement scope, and I'll write printf, and we're going to print in similar fashion %d and counter variable. We'll give some space to it here. So after giving space, and I'll give semicolon here. So this is all it, and here I'll write counter minus minus. So this is going to be decrementing in the whole big while loop, right? So here we're going to skip the number 7 from it is going to be printed in reverse order 10 to 1. We already did that, but here we are skipping some value. So I'll hit Control S, right click here, run the code. Okay, it is giving some kind of error. What is that error? Error is in the line number 18. Let's fix it. Line number 11. Let's fix that. Okay, I have to use semicolon here. I'll hit Control S now. I'll right click here, run the code. Now you can see 10, 9, 8, 6. Here between 8 and 6, 7 is skipped. You guys can see it. It means what? We have skipped the number 7. So this is the work of continue. So here in the if we have written this continue within the scope, that's why 7 is getting skipped, right? This is the work of continue. Alright, let's move forward and let's see more examples on continue. So I'll take more code 29 continue 1.c. Alright, so let's write the header file first. Hash include stdio.h and int main function, and after that we'll be writing it. So I'll write return 0. Alright, so we'll do some, we'll try to trick something. So let's declare one variable, int a equals to 10. So let's give variable a with value 10. Alright, now I'll write the while loop, and inside that while loop I'll give condition a is less than equals to, let's say 25. Alright, this is done, and in the scope of it I'll say if a plus equals to 2. If you understand this we already know. A plus equals to means we can write this way also, a equals to a plus 2. Same thing, both are the same thing. Alright, now I'll write if statement here. If a is greater than 15 and a is less than 20, then skip the values. So this is the thing we are writing. So I'll write continue here. If that is the thing, continue. So one statement I am writing, I don't have to write in parenthesis, right? You already know that. And after that I'll be using printf statement, and that will be printing the values. Rest values will be printed, right? Percentage d, I'll give some space to it so that it looks good in the terminal, and I'll write the variable a, and I'll end it with semicolon. So this is all done. Now I'll click here, I'll clear it, the terminal. Alright, now if you see whichever number which are a greater than 15 and a less than 20, those will be skipped here. So we can see it is starting from 10. So we can see 12 will be printed because a become 12 here, right? A plus 2 is there. So 12 is greater than 15. No, this condition is not satisfied. So 12 will be printed out. So then 12 plus 2, that is 14. 14 is greater than 15. No, then 14 will be printed out. 16 is greater than 15 and 16 is less than 20. Yes, so that will be skipped. 16 will be skipped. Same thing, it will be going on. So I'll hit Control S. I'll right click here, run the code here. Okay, I'll right click again, run the code. You see 12, 14, 20, 24, 26, 24, 26 is getting printed. Here a value is starting point is 10. Then a plus 10 plus 2 is becoming 12. Then 12, similarly it will be going on this way until unless a is less than 25, because this is a while loop. It will continue to do that. So this is all about continue statement. This is how it is done. Now with this we're going to see the go to statement. So it's go to statement we generally don't use, but I'll still use, like I'll show you one example how to use the go to statement. For that we'll be creating, because go to statement is bit difficult to use, and we in today's programming, like everything is done by break and continue. So go to statement will be, we don't use basically, but still we're going to see it. So I'll name it 30 and I'll write go to dot c. So we're going to see it, right? I'll include header file here, hash include stdio.h, and I'll write int main function. I have written, all right, this is done, return 0. all right, now I'll initialize a variable int a equals to, let's say, 10. So this a is what we know, it's a local variable and its scope is within the main function. So I have to write this as int, right? Not inr. Int I have to write. So a variable I have declared. So we'll be writing in do while loop. So we'll write a keyword, we'll write a one name that is loop, and here we'll be using do while loop. All right, so what is the way of writing do while loop? This is the do we write, and here we write while, and we give condition in the while, right? So condition we're going to give, let's give the condition, let's say a is less than 20, that is the condition, right? And we'll give the body here. So it's bit, this is what do while execution. So here I've used the one word that is loop, right? So how are we going to use it? Let's see. So here I'll write one if statement, and in that I'll write if a is equals to 15. If a is equals to 15, that time do what? Write a equals to a plus 1. So this is what? Skip the iteration. Basically it is going to skip the iteration, because after this we'll be writing go to loop. When I say go to loop, it is basically what it's going to do, it's going to skip the iteration. It is going to skip the iteration. So from here it will skip it and it will jump to the loop, it will go back to here, right? And after this, if what we'll be writing is, I'll be writing one printf statement. So in printf I'll be saying, the value of a is going to be what? %d and /n, so that go to the next line, and comma a, that is the variable, and we have to update the a every time for that also. So I'll be writing a plus plus. A plus plus is similar to, we know a equals to a plus 1. This is this and that, the same thing. So this will value off, right? So go to loop means it is going to skip the iteration. So from 10 it will go 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14. Then when 15 will come, it will skip it. So that is the work of go to, right? Then 16, 17, 18, 19, till 19 it will be printed, because still this is the condition. So when it will become 15, because we have written 15, that time it will skip it. So I'll hit Ctrl S, right click here, run the code. So 15 should be skipped. Okay, it is printing some different value. Okay, I got the point. So in the line number 10 we have used a inside that, double quotes. So I have to write it a outside of it, right? I'll now hit Ctrl S, I'll click here and I'll clear it out, clear the code. Now I'll right click here and run the code. So here you can see 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 escape. So we know continue statement is much more easier to use than go to. So this is all about this, go to statement. So this is the end of it. Now we're going to start the next topics.